So today we're looking at a very, very important law, which is very critical, the law of obsolescence. The law of obsolescence. And this law, I have taken it, I will take it in the direction to teach or to train as a framework that any professional or entrepreneur can use to circumvent becoming obsolete in the career and business, the framework to circumvent becoming obsolete in career and business. And one thing, as I always say in a funny way, which is the truth, we are in a dispensation. We're in a very fast-paced dispensation in the history of human existence since Jesus came and left. The world is changing so fast. Things happen so fast that if you are not careful, you can quickly be left behind. A lot is happening, and anybody can become very useless at any time. Let me give you a practical example. Right now, everybody, if somebody doesn't know that, then that person knows who has a problem. Now, everybody's talking about the invasion of Russia, invading Ukraine, all right, and all of that. Now, that just happened, that went on the news like a few days ago, and in less than 6 hours, Russia invaded Ukraine and bombs everywhere, people running helter-skelter, trying to go to different countries and so on and so forth. And before we knew it, sanctions from everywhere started coming in and all of that. So Europe is boiling, and that has really affected the European economy, and it's going to stretch the African economy to America and so on and so forth. But you know, there is something more specific. I'm taking us somewhere with this story. There's something more specific that in a country now like Ukraine, and for these immigrants, especially running, they are in some challenge, they're going through some challenges that you cannot solve those kind of challenges with a normal way of thinking or with average skills, for example. So there's a parent I know that she has a son in Ukraine. She was in the office the other day, and she was telling me the process of sending money to the son in Ukraine so that the son can use the money, leave Ukraine, go to Slovakia, from Slovakia, go to Poland, from Poland, go to Austria, from Austria, go to Germany or Canada to be safe. Now that's the process. And the only way to send money to the son in a fast-paced environment like that and in a crisis like that is only Bitcoin. Now, imagine if this parent did not know what Bitcoin was or what a wallet, Bitcoin wallet was and all of that. Number one, she would have been totally useless and not knowing how to help the son. She would not know how to convert fiat money, francs, into Bitcoin so that it can send to the son and the son can use and pay bills while he's on the run for safety. Now, here's the funny thing. While they were trying to raise money, family members are asking her, how will she send the money? She's mentioned Bitcoin. And then she told me that majority of all the family members that she mentioned the word Bitcoin to, nobody knew what Bitcoin was all about. Now, another important fact that she shared was that the son is with another Cameroonian boy or student who was also in Ukraine. And the parents of that boy are totally stranded. Thanks to her, that the parents of that boy now know that there's a way to send money to the boy and they can use something called Bitcoin, a Bitcoin wallet and all of that. Now look at what is happening in just days, just hours. And anybody can be stranded. There are people that can be stranded now, not because they're supposed to be stranded. It is because maybe they have obsolete knowledge, obsolete skills, they're ignorant about certain key things that are already in play in the present dispensation. Because you don't know something doesn't mean that it's not working or it's not happening. And this same thing is happening to various careers and to various people. I know people that have lost opportunities because they had no idea that these opportunities actually exist. So according to the law of obsolescence, whatever exists is already becoming obsolete. You get that? Whatever exists is already becoming obsolete. Whatever you think you thought you knew last year is already becoming obsolete today. The point is, as time is passing, whatever you knew and whatever you know now is becoming obsolete. And most importantly, as the industry is advancing, as nations are advancing, what you know is becoming obsolete. That is why there are some businesses that will end up failing and going out of business, not because they had the wrong product, not because they had the wrong strategies, but it is just because the industry where these businesses exist have outgrown the business. The business is not growing according to the rates that the industry is growing. Let us come to employees. Let's come to workers. There are many of you workers that you may lose your jobs, not because you are not hardworking, not because you are not committed, but because you are hardworking and committed, but your skills and the knowledge that you have can no longer match up with the growth of your business, of your company. So your boss has no choice than to terminate your contract and recruit somebody who has up-to-date knowledge and experience and skills. The law of obsolescence says that everything from products to services to skills to core competencies to advertisement methods to marketing strategies to business processes are becoming obsolete with the passing of time. Yes, everything is becoming obsolete. Your laptop is becoming obsolete. The phone you have right now is becoming obsolete. The Zoom version you're using right now is becoming obsolete. And that's why a few weeks from now, or even tomorrow, after tomorrow, anytime, Zoom asks you to update the Zoom that you have to a new version. That's why sometimes your WhatsApp expires. I'm sure you have experienced that. It expires and so, okay, this WhatsApp no longer in play. You need to update and get the latest version of your WhatsApp application. Has anybody ever gone through that? Receive that kind of message indicating the chat box? Have you ever received that kind of message from an app in your phone that you are recommended, you are asked to update the app? If not, you will no longer be able to use the app. Okay, that is it. Now put yourself in the position of the old app. That's why one of my friends always say that people update their phones and their app, but they don't update their mindset. And it's true. There are many of you that you have updated your WhatsApp, you have updated your Facebook, but you don't know the new features that Facebook added and how it can help your career and business. You have no idea, but you have it updated. The app is updated, but your sense is not updated. Your knowledge is not updated. Your skills is not updated. So if your Facebook has outgrown your knowledge, you're underutilizing that app if you don't know what to do and how to use it. So the law of obsolescence, never forget this. You need to be very conscious of this till you retire and you die out of this world and you stop working. This is a timeless law that 30 years from now, it will always be in play. And if you want to remain relevant decade after decade, you want to run a business that will remain relevant decade after decade, it is your responsibility to always remember and be up to date and know that there is a law, the law of obsolescence, which is reminding you and informing you that everything from products to services to skills to core competencies to advertisements to marketing strategies to business processes are becoming obsolete with the passing of time. As you sleep and wake up, things are changing. Because you don't know that they are changing, or because you are not directly affected when they are changing, does not mean that they are not changing. They are changing. And in a global landscape like this, technology and the digital space has facilitated the global landscape. So things are affecting us even more than we know. Things are affecting us in a drastical way. Therefore, for an entrepreneur in Cameroon, for a professional in Africa to survive and thrive in these times of changes, uncertainty, and turbulence, you and your company, you and your career must be fast on your feet and prepared to deal with continual change as an avoidable fact of life, as an unavoidable fact of life. Continuous change is an unavoidable fact in business. Continual change is an unavoidable fact in your career and industry. It is something that will always happen. If you like, don't innovate. I will innovate. And when I innovate, I influence the industry and it's going to affect you. If you like, you don't study and be updated. I will study and become better, and I will influence change that will affect you. That is your mindset. Nobody will wait because you are waiting. Never, nobody waits for you. Your competitor will not wait because you are waiting. Your competitor will not be lazy because you are lazy. That is your personal problem and that of your family. They are going to do their part. And when they do their part, they're going to influence the industry. They're going to influence national economic activities that automatically affects you as a young person, whether you like it or not. So for you to thrive and to shine as a professional and as a business person, it is your responsibility for you and your company, you and your career, to be fast on your feet and be prepared always to deal with continual change. COVID-19 brought continual change. Were you fast on your feet? What did you do to adapt and to take advantage and to be proactive and not reactive? Tomorrow will definitely be different from today. This today, this morning, this 5 a.m. right now is automatically different from the 5 a.m. of yesterday. And you need to be conscious like that in your business, in your career. Tomorrow will be different from today. Because as long as people are taking initiatives, as long as people are taking actions, as long as people are initiating activities from different areas, it automatically makes tomorrow different. This evening will be different from this morning. Even just the knowledge you're receiving right now, the knowledge you receive will influence your actions. And immediately you take action, you have contributed to causing uncertainty and advancing your industry and Cameroon as a nation. When you have this kind of mentality and you are this informed and you are this conscious and intentional, there are some things that will not take you by surprise. Many people have been taken by surprise and excluded and made irrelevant and made obsolete against their own wish. Yeah, many people have been made obsolete against their own wish. Like, for example, yesterday during the orientation class of the mini MBA, where as I was given instructions about how assignments will be submitted through PowerPoint presentation and all of that, there were people that said they don't know what a PowerPoint is. In 2022, the PowerPoint has been in existence like in the last 25 years or so. Something people have been using year in, year out. I started using PowerPoint when I was at Form 1. But some people say they don't know that PowerPoint exists. Now, they have been forced to be obsolete in that direction because of their ignorance and not being updated to know what is happening in that particular direction. So tomorrow will be different from today. And like you stay and don't know PowerPoint. There are people who know PowerPoint, they know PowerPoint version 2003, 2004, 2005, 2007, 2010, 2012, 2013, right up to the latest PowerPoint that was released just a few months ago. But if you don't know version 2017, 2007, 2010, that's your problem. The world has already advanced like that. So it is your responsibility to take your growth to that dimension. The most frustrated people in business and in the professional world today are those entrepreneurs, are those professionals who are trying to hold back the tide of change by failing to adapt or by adapting too slowly to the competitive onslaught that is taking place all around them. That is the most frustrated person. You are a very frustrated professional. You are a very potential frustrated entrepreneur if you are trying to hold back the tide of change by failing to adapt. You don't push yourself to adapt and know. You hear something that is critical, you don't push yourself to know. You allow laziness and procrastination to control you. There are many important things that you must have heard me say here, you must have read somewhere, but you have refused to adapt to learn and know those things and how they can influence you. There are some of you, you have been hearing Bitcoin wallet, Bitcoin this. You have never taken steps to download even a Bitcoin wallet and know what it does. You have never gone to YouTube channel and what is a Bitcoin wallet? How does it work? If this talk is talking to you, write in the chat box that you are the one. Don't be shy. We know some of you people from your faces. If you are here like that, you've been hearing of Bitcoin, but you have never taken steps to just like, you know what? Let me just download this wallet. Let me see the logo. Let me see how it looks. Let me just click some things and see. Let me watch a video and just understand this thing. What does it mean? How is it going to affect my career? How is it going to affect my business? Look at many of you, when you have been hearing about it. That is how you become irrelevant. That's how you become useless. When it comes to that kind of, you're already useless. The point is that the uselessness is not loud. That's the point. It's not loud. You see, many of you. But now when you're taken by surprise and you're experiencing certain failures in your business, your career, number one, you're going to blame your village people. You blame our government that they have not done this for you. But are you doing the right thing? Are you doing the right thing? And that's why there's some of you that you can be stranded if you go to different countries. Like there was somebody who was complaining that he went somewhere and was stranded, didn't know how to receive money, all of that. Just let them get the mobile money in Cameroon, get to this guy, send on Bitcoin, you cash it out here. And he was struggling. What happened? They went to about 4 different Western unions and different banks. They could not send money to him in that country where we are. I'm like, look at you. He was already useless and obsolete. If I didn't tell him that this is what they should do, get the mobile money, get to this person, they will transfer it to a Bitcoin here and you cash it cash. And in less than 5 minutes or 10 minutes or so, he got the money in that country at a lesser price, faster and easy. But at that particular moment, he was already frustrated. There are some of you who want to go out of the country. You have never sat like that. What is the visa process to go to those countries you want to go? Have you ever researched? How many types of visa are available in that country? Have you ever done that? What is the entry? What is the point of entry? If you want to go to America right now, what is the best state to enter to? Your thing is America. You have to choose, okay, you want to enter through New York, to Washington, to Atlanta, through, you need to Texas. You have to pick out. But you have never done that. You are obsolete as far as that kind of information is concerned. It's important that as professionals, as entrepreneurs, there are some things that we need to be a step ahead. People get to talk about how they make money online, the kind of online skills that they have. What have you done as a person to adapt to that, to learn and to research deeply and understand how these people really do it? What kind of apps do they use? The most frustrated people in business and in career today are those who are trying to hold back the tide of change by doing what? By failing to adapt, or by adapting too slowly to the competitive onslaught that is taking place all around them. See, somebody saying that he doesn't know that visas are differentiated. Oh, they are. If you are going to America, for example, for graduation, you need there's a different visa for that. They are going for marriage, you're going for business, you're going for education. They are all different visas for many of these things in different countries. And if you don't know how to apply the right one, you apply the wrong one, and then you are rejected. You start blaming village people. You start blaming a demon somewhere. Go to your church, pastor, pray. I've been rejected on visa application. Meanwhile, it is ignorance that sponsored your refusal of visa. Therefore, continuous innovation and improvement are essential to survival. For you to survive and thrive in this dispensation, as far as business and career is concerned, continuous innovation and improvement are essential to survival. And that's why communities and sessions and courses like this are critical that we get to handle, because we consistently stretch your knowledge. Every day I'm pushing you to new knowledge every single day. When you take any of my courses, I'm pushing you to new levels every day. That way, that's how you're conquering your ability. You start reducing your chances of becoming obsolete. You reduce those chances by your ability to consistently innovate and improve in your area of expertise. And that is why innovation and improvement are not things you do when you have enough time and money. No. Every company, every entrepreneur, every professional right now must have its top people, or must have it as top priority to dedicate time to developing products, services, and knowledge of tomorrow. So you don't keep your ability of learning, don't keep your decisions of learning to when you have time. No. That's why PPA should not just be like a part-time thing. It should be an important part of you, because these are things that you need for you to remain relevant and not obsolete in your career. So for entrepreneurs and business people and professionals and executives, know that innovation and improvement are not things you do when you have enough time and money. No, every company must have its top people and leaders dedicated to developing the products and services of tomorrow. And every professional must be dedicated to acquiring the knowledge of today and the knowledge of tomorrow. It should be important. That's why I encourage people to do like mentees. When you're doing the phase one of your mentorship program, there's always a question I ask you: do you have learning moments? Don't learn when you feel like learning. You're not yet serious with your life. Have times within the day when you learn, and there's something I call innovative learning. I did that last year with the current with some mentees. I'm going to do that again this year with some mentees and teach them the art of innovative learning. I even handled this one time in PPA last year when we're doing the 17 days online brand positioning like that, right? It's good to add innovative learning. What does innovative learning mean in simple terms? It means that as a professional, I always encourage people to add something to your learning schedule that you have never learned before. Learn something out of the usual. For example, if you have never understood how they do Bitcoin exchange, you've never understood how they move money between Bitcoin, you don't know what a Bitcoin wallet is, you can pick out an app within a month or 2 hours within a month. It depends on your time. And just say, well, you know what, in these 2 hours for every week, I am going to research and watch videos and download Bitcoin apps and wallet and all of that, or cryptocurrency wallets and all of that, and just understand how they work, watch videos and see what they're saying, what experts are saying, and so on. That is innovative learning. You are learning something out of the average. You are learning something out of your normal routine. You intentionally push yourself to learn something out of your normal daily routine or monthly routine. And it must be something innovative and unique. You're a teacher, you don't know how some online learning platforms work, how they what they call LMS, learning management system. Okay, create time. Go online, go search learning management systems, look for free ones, download, click inside, register inside, look how they manage learning, how those learning management softwares, how they work. Look inside, click, see how they upload courses, see how to track students, see how to track assignments, check all of these things. That is innovative learning. And that is how you avoid being obsolete. That's when you teachers hear that if your school announced today, bam, everything is learning online. All students are going online. It will take like 1 month to adapt to proper learning systems. The only thing you have to do is to do voice on WhatsApp and share. In your mind now, you're using online to do learning. You're doing nothing. Anybody can do that. But there's a learning management systems that expert teachers need to know how to use. But how many do you know? How many have you tried to test and manage and use? Then I know some people that when they're joining PP and I say, well, we'll be using Zoom a lot of times. They're like, really, what is Zoom? Are you sure I'm going to cope using Zoom? Or you will cope or you have no choice. If an individual does not commit itself to continuous innovation, he or she will find himself or herself with a shaky present and an uncertain future. If a startup does not commit itself to continuous innovation and improvement, it will find itself with a shaky present and an uncertain future. The most successful companies under virtually all economic conditions are those that continually innovate and introduce new products and services even when the business is slow. That's a fact. If you run a business and you want to stand out and you want to remain relevant, you need to ensure that you are always introducing new products, new services, new processes, and new ways of doing things. And you don't only do that when business is doing well. No, you do that even when business is slow. You're always contributing. You're always creating. You're always trying to make sure that you are bringing something new into the marketplace and for your customers. It is the same for workers and professionals. You need to always upgrade yourself and prove that you have something new to bring to the table as far as your work is concerned. So there is a direct relationship between the quantity of new ideas and company attempts and the ultimate financial success of the company, of the business. There is a strong relationship between the quantity of new ideas, that is a business ability to generate new ideas and new processes, and their financial success. Businesses that get to perform very well financially or are very profitable, check them very well. These are businesses that consistently innovate, consistently improve, and generate new ideas because they have access to new research, what they like to call R&D, research and development, which leads to new ideas, new try and error, and now they can launch, and sometimes they stumble in quotes, they stumble on excellent products or mind-blowing products that when they launch, they go viral. It is the same for professionals. You look at any young person who is doing well financially. They know more things than many other young people. That's a fact. They know how to do different things. They know how to, they have the ability of trying different things in their area of expertise and making sure that they're able to create new ideas and new products, and they find a way to resell it or increase their value in the marketplace, which make people to pay for their services. So the best way to predict the future is to create it. The best way any professional here, the best way any entrepreneur can predict their future is to create it. And how do you create it? Stop waiting, take action. Try things, venture into new projects, venture into new initiatives. Don't just run a business in your sector. No, try different things in your sector. Try to introduce different products in your sector. This different. I'm not saying that it should be in agriculture and then be in technology and then be, except the two are merging together to create one thing. I'm not saying you should run many businesses. No, you can run a business in the restaurant sector, in the tourism sector, but they're good. That's a very big sector. How can you try to create different ideas and different products and see, okay, what can I create? How can I improve a process? How can I create a new service, a new product? How can you just take things to another level in your industry as a professional? You should always have more ideas for new products and services than you possibly have time and resources to develop. Yes, always have new ideas for products and services than you have time to develop. It's better to have many ideas written down. Have an idea book, have an idea app, have an idea notepad where you write different ideas under your industry, under your business that you can introduce. Don't run a business that you don't have idea books with that business. Again, I'm not saying you have different business ideas. No, have ideas that can advance the current business that you're doing. I'm not saying it should be everywhere. If you have somebody, let's say like Walter, so run a photography studio, okay, what other ideas can he have under that can promote that particular business and position that startup or that photography business as the most innovative photo studio in that locality? What other ideas can he bring around? If you run an agricultural startup, you run a finance startup, you run a service business, you run a restaurant, whatever that you can do, what ideas do you possibly have written down that you can take action towards them to push your business forward and consistently remain relevant? Because the best way that you can beat obsolescence is for you to create, initiate. Without initiation, without creation, you will be obsolete. Right? Let me give you just based on an example. One of us, mainly in Limbe, when it was during Valentine's Day, right? Maybe she has never done that in the history of a restaurant. But during Valentine's Day 2022, she brought a live band, she brought a piano, she brought live speakers, live microphones, and then she was singing, people were singing in a restaurant and eating food and all of that. That's an idea that has made her relevant in the sector. Right? So if next Valentine's Day again, she thinks of something again and do it again, that is how she consistently remain relevant. She will not remain obsolete. The business will not remain obsolete. So what ideas can you create and bring? And that is your responsibility for you to do that. Be open to everyone's ideas. It's one of the best ways that you can beat obsolescence. Be open to everyone's idea. A person working in a company can often see a need for a product and service that can revolutionize both the company and the industry. This is especially for those who have employees, entrepreneurs, and executives. If you have people working for you, you need to respect their idea. Don't kick out on ideas. Listen to every idea. All ideas are critical. Some you can listen and say, okay, great, let's do it now. Some you listen, okay, you know what, I will think about it. Some you listen, okay, you know what, let's wait and do it next year. Some you listen, okay, you know what, it is good, but we need to develop it better so before we can implement. Don't just kick out ideas. Companies that kick out employees' ideas are never innovative. They are never a step ahead when it comes to being relevant. One head doesn't build a relevant business. Never. That is why look at the biggest companies that are making it big. They have what they call strategy teams. They have what they call research and development teams. Some even have innovative growth teams. Companies like Facebook, they have innovative growth teams. Their dedication is to design innovative ideas and submit to the business. Some universities have research and innovation centers in their universities where they send researchers there to go and research and develop new ideas. That is how you remain relevant. Learn how to take different ideas and use that. If you're a one-man army, you're not yet working with people, ideas of other people, ideas of mentors, mentees, ideas of coaches, ideas of experts, ideas of people in the same industry with you, ideas of customers. In other words, every idea around you is important. You need to take, analyze it, pick the right ones, keep the rest, pick the essentials, keep the ones that are not essential, and take it forward. That is how you remain relevant and you beat obsolete. So my chart for you is, imagine that your highest volume and your highest profit product will be obsolete within 3 to 5 years. Now that's an imagination. Imagine that your highest volume, imagine that your highest profit or product will be obsolete in the next 3 to 5 years. The question I have for you is, what new products or services could you develop and market to take its place? Like those of you who run businesses, imagine that everything that you're producing right now as a service or a product, it will be obsolete in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, what are you going to produce to replace your current product that is doing very well? You may have a product doing very well right now, and in 2 years, in 3 years, it may no longer be doing well. So what are you doing behind the scenes to prepare another product that can replace the product that is currently doing well and may become obsolete in the next 2 to 5 years? You need to think like that as an entrepreneur. The same like a professional, a worker, a corporate employee. What are you doing right now that it may be important, but in the next 3 to 5 years, it will no longer be relevant? What are you doing? What are you working behind the scenes in your private time to develop something that can replace that particular thing that when it becomes irrelevant in the next few years? Imagine that your business is burned. These are entrepreneurs and business people. Imagine that your business is burned to the ground overnight, and you were tasked with getting new facilities and starting all over again. What would you do differently? What will you do differently? Entrepreneurs, imagine that what you have right now as a business, it burns down to the ground, God forbid, that things happen, right? Or there's some shaky, and you want to rebuild back, want to rebuild some things. What will you do different? Will you change your logo? Will you change your products? Will you change your location? Will you repaint the office? What will you do different that can enhance the relevance of your business in that industry and in that locality? Do this exercise and see where you can start initiating change as a person. So to round up with this, there are a couple of things where I've been mentioning them already, but I want to list it out directly. There are a couple of elements. There's this a framework that I recommend. There are a couple of things in this framework that if anybody takes them to heart and practice them, you can circumvent becoming obsolete in your career and in your business. Taking all of other things I have said already and making sure that they are part and parcel of your professional life, of your business life, every day, every month. And with all of these specific elements that makes up the framework, you can be very relevant year in, year out, and you never become obsolete as a professional and as an entrepreneur. If you are still there, indicates that you're following and you're learning and you're repenting. If I give you the 8 elements to circumvent becoming obsolete.
I'm there, sir, following.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Good. Let's proceed then. Let's proceed then with the elements. Element number 1, when it concerns the framework to circumvent becoming obsolete. Elements number 1, keep your skills up to date. Keep your skills up to date. Every professional and every entrepreneur has core skills that if they don't keep those skills up to date, they will be obsolete. The question is, what are those skills? And it is your job to actually find out those skills. Keep your skills up to date. Let me tell you something I did. In 2020, when COVID-19 hit so hard and the consulting industry was changing drastically and technology was now more intense when it concerns business structures and systems. I had to do a business analysis course in India called RP, Robotic Process Automation Business Analyst, to do the course to understand how to merge business strategy and technology and automation and so on. That is updating my skills, not so that I should not become obsolete. Anybody who calls his or herself a business consultant now, and you don't know technology to a certain level, you are just doing a chauffeur to become very irrelevant in 2 years. Even apart from that, any business person, and you don't know certain kind of skills, you will be obsolete. So look at those skills around you that you need to keep them up to date and learn those skills. Element number 2, stay abreast of business and industry news. Stay abreast, keep yourself updated on business and industry news. This is one of the best ways to avoid becoming obsolete. There are some of you that you have no latest news about what is happening in your industry. You have no idea about the latest policies, the latest laws, the latest companies in your industry. The last time you watched international news was like 4 years ago. Even what is happening, like the Russia-Ukraine thing, you have never sat down to read a proper news article about what is this thing really about? How is it affecting the business world right now? If this is touching you, talk your truth. Have you done that on a serious note? Are you abreast of that? That's why you are obsolete. Even in the current situation, in the current dispensation, you are obsolete. You are not abreast when it comes to business and industry news. And industry news is more relevant. Industry news is more relevant. If you're in the health sector, that is industry. If you're in the health sector, that's an industry. What is the latest industry news in your industry? What are the latest health technologies? What are the latest viruses? What are the latest medications? What are the latest whatever? It is very, very important for you to know the latest industry news. You're in finance. What are the latest financial reporting standards? What are the latest finance laws? What are the latest finance technologies? What are the latest finance platforms? What are the latest fintech apps that you need to know? You need to know those kind of things. You're in agriculture. What are the latest news regarding the Food and Agricultural Organization? What are they saying about agricultural state in Africa? What is the African Development Bank saying? What are the various technologies that you need to know as far as AI is concerned, agriculture and all of that? You need to know those things. Many of you are already very obsolete, but you have no idea because you are comfortable. And some people only discover that they are obsolete when the day you leave this country. One thing is that you begin to think that you are too good because you're in the midst of mediocrity, you're in the midst of averageness. When you leave this country and go like to Johannesburg, go like to just to Lagos here, go like to Kigali, before you understand that you are 10 years behind civilization. But in your mind, you thought that you overdid. You thought that you are this. That's one thing that happens when you're in a mediocre society. You begin to think that you have the best standard when you have nothing. And one of the best ways to upgrade yourself and challenge yourself is for you to stay updated about industry news from other countries in your area of expertise. In your area of expertise. So stay abreast with business and industry news and stop embarrassing yourself. Next is update your technology skills. Update your technology skills. See, whether you like it or not, many of you will remain stunted in your career, in your business, if you don't understand certain technological skills and how to use them. These are not skills that somebody else would do for you. No. Some digital and technological skills, you need to know them for yourself. You have to know them. If not, you are already obsolete. If you cannot sit right now and design a PowerPoint presentation and use, that's a sign of being obsolete. If there are some apps that you cannot use, let me go to my phone and list some of those apps. There are some apps that you cannot use. You're already obsolete. You cannot use Calendar, Google Calendar, to track your daily activities. You're obsolete somewhere. You cannot use LinkedIn to grow your international career and experience. You're obsolete. You cannot use Twitter. Something is wrong with you. You're hibernating around being obsolete. You cannot use WPS Office on your phone. Something is wrong. You cannot use the Zoom app. You cannot use Canva. You cannot use all of this app, Otter. You cannot use Studio. All of these things you need to keep abreast. And there are some of you in industry. There are some of you in different sectors that there are some apps that are critical in your industry. If you're in the restaurant business, there are some apps that you don't have. You should be worried. Go and find them. I don't know them because it's not my industry. I don't know them because it's not my industry, but there are key apps that depending on the industry where you find yourself, you need to know those apps. There are some key technologies that because you are in that industry, you need to know them. Go and find them and know it. If not, you are just irrelevance is doing push-ups around your destiny and you become useless in less than no time. Update your digital and technological skills. You will quickly become irrelevant if those you have, as I keep saying, if you are anywhere in a major or semi-urban town, you have access to minimal internet. Let me not say good internet, just normal internet. You have access to a smartphone. You have access to the laptop. You are so involved in the global world more than you think. And there are some things happening that are affecting you that you have no idea, and which they're negatively affecting you, because anything happening to you that you are ignorant about is already against you. It's already working against your own future. It is better for you to be knowledgeable about and see how to intentionally influence it and use it for your personal advancement and professional growth. So we've got to do that. You don't have to use Google Docs. You don't know how to use Google Drive, OneDrive. All of these things are critical for you to use. Some of you have taken my course on virtual tools, collaboration, and social media stuff. You know some of these apps, some of these platforms have handled them, which are very important and basic to do that. The fourth element in the framework to circumvent becoming obsolete in your career and industry is for you to join professional associations. Join professional associations. And then put in bracket communities. Communities. Let me start with community example. There are some things that you must have learned. There are some things that you must have learned for the first time being a PPA. That is the power of being part of communities, right? There are some things that some of you are here and you are in Jonathan's platform, VIP 1000 VIP stuff. There are some things you have learned because you're part of that community. There are some of you that you have done a Michael Ladipo's program on the that's leadership school, right? There are some things you have learned because you're part of that community. That is how to also beat obsolete. You're part of relevant communities. Don't only be in jungle groups and drinking clubs and veterans and all these. All they do is they don't advance in any way. They only suck the small thing that you have. You are degrading, you're not upgrading in life if you're in part of certain communities. Some of you are too busy with people here and there, and nobody advances your life and destiny, and you have nothing relevant to show for. So be part of communities and professional associations. For example, if you are in like being teachers association, be in physics teacher association, be in doctor association, midwife association, be in JCI, join the Yali program, join all of these professional associations. Some are virtual, some are international, some you need a fee to pay, some you don't need any fee to pay, but just go search your industry. What is your industry? Every industry virtually, globally has associations. You can join these associations. You can join these associations because in these associations, you're going to receive like newsletters, you're going to receive magazines, you're going to receive monthly letters from the chairman or whoever is in that organization, and they're keeping you abreast. Okay, these are the new things happening in our industry. We need to take charge of this. We need to do this and do that. Join the lawyer association, accountant association, finance officer association. Find places to join, agriculture associations. This is one of the best ways to remain relevant in their industry and career, because in these associations, other experts will share, other players will share what they're doing, other stakeholders will mention what they have tried and it's working, and you can go try also and see how it goes for you. Next is perform a career checkup. Perform a career checkup. One of the best ways to identify your skill gaps, there's something called skills gap, and other threats to your professional success is to perform a career checkup. A career checkup is you looking at where am I lacking? And in career checkup, you need to talk to an expert. As a certified skills expert, I provide coaching on that. People come and we just analyze the career and all of that. So, okay, you know what? You need this kind of skill. Go and learn this skill. Go and learn this. Go and learn this. Go and learn this. You need this kind of information. Learn this and learn this. There's a framework I use to determine various ways that you have gaps in your career. Even though I'm not in your career, I'm not doing what you do. I can help a doctor become a better doctor, even though I'm not a medical person. There are frameworks I can use that, okay, you know what, as a doctor, be here, be here, be here, be here, know this and know this and do this and do this, identify this and do and do. It's going to advance you and make you very relevant in your career. Some people will become obsolete because they don't do career checkups, and in 10 years, they just realize that the world has so advanced that I be wait to when these things, like when people come to the office, I'm doing work with them, that I be wait to these things have been there. Yes, they have been there 10 years, 5 years ago, they have been there. Because you don't know them, or you're not connected to them, or you're not aware, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. It massively exists. It is just your ignorance that sponsored your lack of information, which now makes you think that they don't exist. No, they do exist. The next thing, the next element in this framework that you need to develop to avoid being obsolete is invest in your professional brand. Invest in your professional brand. How do you invest in your professional brand? Number one, write articles, not just write well-structured articles that other platforms can publish. Like I always say, you cannot claim you're a graduate and your final project that you wrote in your third year or in your degree level is not on the internet. You know, then you have nothing can be attached to your name. That's part of building a professional brand. You cannot claim that you have a master's degree and your master's thesis are not anywhere that somebody can read in a public library somewhere on the internet. That's not, then you don't have a professional brand in that light. You cannot claim that you're a professional anyway. You don't have any article to your name. It's a key way. You cannot claim that you're an expert, you're a professional. One sign that they rate expert is what have you written to contribute to your industry. And sometimes it must not be a scientific article. It could just be a well-structured article that you wrote. One of the last articles that I wrote that went really viral in Cameroon last few days was the article I wrote on, how did I get that article again? Like quick actions entrepreneurs and business executives can take in the midst of crisis, for example, Anglophone crisis. You can just write an article like that. It portrays you as a professional expert and it builds your brand. You will quickly become obsolete if you don't have a professional brand. And you build a professional brand by making sure that you're contributing to the profession. And how do you contribute to the profession? Create for the profession. Write books, write manuals, write guides, write ebooks, write articles, scientific and non-scientific. Contribute to the profession. That is what builds your brand. Do videos and talk about the topic. That's what builds your brand. You become obsolete if nothing can be attached to your name as a professional. Then you have nothing to show for. In short, create something. Let me not over labor the point. Create something. Next is bring value to your company and your industry. Yes, to avoid being obsolete, bring value, bring contributions, bring strategies, bring new concepts. Oh, tell your boss, okay, so look, this is a strategy we're thinking about. If we implement like this, we're going to have this kind of result. Let's analyze and see. Bring value, bring suggested tools, create frameworks, create anything that can be implemented so that the company can advance or the industry can advance. What value are you bringing? Don't just go to work and be there. Don't just be in the industry from January to December. You have not contributed something that other people can use and advance their own lives. Create value. And it's linked to the next one I was talking about, create articles. There are frameworks I have written that many entrepreneurs, some of you have used it here and you have seen change in your career and in your business. That's me creating value for the industry. How can you create your own value? How can you create value for your target customer? If you run a business, you can do that, yes. Find better ways of serving your customers. The next element, that's element number one. The next element in this framework to circumvent becoming obsolete is track competitors and influencers for trends and ideas. Track competitors and influencers for trends and ideas. In every industry, there are people that call them principalities. In every sector, there are competitors and influencers. There are thought leaders. There are people that are very exceptional when it comes to new ideas and creating content and all of that. Track them, follow them on Twitter, follow them on LinkedIn, follow them on Facebook, follow their website, read from them consistently. That way you understand trends, you understand new ideas, and you can learn from them. You can add, you can agree, you can suggest, you can do all of that. And apart from that, you'll be updated with what other experts and influencers are doing ahead of you that you have no idea. I have many other entrepreneurs and many other experts that, like, my website was down. And anytime my website is down, I'm not even aware, or sometimes the website, it's them that even tell me, oh, the website is down. Because when they go and read every morning to check what has been published on the website today, what is Joybet talking about today? You see? And same for me. There are many principalities, there are many thought leaders that I follow. I keep track of them. Because especially those in more advanced countries. Why? They're in a more advanced economy. They have more access to advanced technology. They have access to advanced resources more than some of us in the south of the world, in Africa. So they have the ability to create and engineer new ideas and new perspectives and new principles better than some of us here. So the best way is to keep track of them and know what is happening and learn from them. Next point for you to circumvent becoming obsolete is disrupt your own solutions before someone else does. That's the next point. This point number what? Indicate for those who are taking notes. Let me see. We're in point number what? The point I just read, right in the chat box. The point I just read, disrupt your own solutions before someone else does. Okay, good. Thank you, Clinton, Nestor, Kanesia, and all of that. All right, Rita, thank you. Yes, point number 9 says disrupt your own solutions before someone else does. Okay, for example, who here is still using iPhone 10 or iPhone 11 or even iPhone 7? Anybody? Or Samsung, the lower version of Samsung, or the latest one? Who is he using? Or Techno, who's using Camon 15, Premiere, all of that, the lower version, not the latest version of this year? Who else still doing that? Indicate in the chat box. Okay, good. I wanted to use a particular example. Okay, which one are you using? Okay, somebody using iPhone. Sandra using what? iPhone 7? Okay. Now, Apple has launched iPhone 13. But does it mean that iPhone 7 is not working? Right? Clarence is using Camon 12 and Celestine is using Camon 16. Now, does it mean that Camon 12 is not working before Techno launched Camon 16? No. But for them to be relevant, that's the point. For them to be relevant and avoid becoming obsolete, they have discovered that the best way is for them to disrupt their own solutions before someone else does. So even though the solution is working, even though Camon 16 is working and is their solution, they are releasing Camon 17. They are disrupting their own solutions so that another company should not come and release what they should have released because they were waiting to be reactive. So for you to be obsolete, for you to avoid becoming obsolete, you need to learn the art of disrupting your own solution before someone else does for you. You see, what is still working right now? And how can you disrupt it and make it better? Yes, iPhone 11 is still working very well. All the features are excellent. But come on, Apple as a key player in the phone making, in the phone manufacturing industry is releasing iPhone 13. So that they should not wait for another company to come from nowhere else and release a better version of the mobile phone. You get the concept? So in point number 9, that will help you to circumvent becoming obsolete, learn how to disrupt your own solutions before someone else does that. And the last point in that is upgrade key and or all processes without waiting for crisis. Yes, update key processes, especially in business or especially in your career. Update key processes without waiting for crisis. Stop waiting for your customers to be dissatisfied before you upgrade. You will quickly become obsolete if you are doing that. That's reactive operations. But it is your job to upgrade key things around your business without waiting for crisis. Don't wait for something to happen before you upgrade. No. Stop waiting for your customers to complain and complain for years and years and months before you upgrade. You will quickly become obsolete if you are doing that. Upgrade without waiting for crisis. There are many employees right now, like during 2020 and 2021, I did a lot of trainings for different employees who were obsolete because they were forced to work from home and they did not know how to use some virtual platforms. Even to a Zoom, they don't know how to use Zoom to organize meetings for their teams. They know how to use proper Zoom. They didn't know how to create a poll and all of that, right? So now they were waiting. Now when COVID-19 came, which was a crisis, it almost made them obsolete. Actually made them obsolete for a few weeks before they were able to learn the skill and become relevant because they were waiting. Upgrade the relevant skills before crisis come. Upgrade and know. Identify. Ask what may or may not happen in my industry. What should I learn before it starts manifesting? It is very, very critical for you to know how to do those things. All right, everybody, I have detailedly broken down how to circumvent becoming obsolete in your career and industry. These are actions that you need to take consistently. These are actions, don't take them last week and skip this week. No, the world is changing so fast. New technologies, new ideas, new companies, new policies, everything is so fast-paced. So you cannot relax. Pick out the real things that you have to do consistently. That's why I need to know some of these things up. Just know them offhand. So that when it happens, you are ready to take action, and you are qualified enough when changes happen. You're not afraid of uncertainty, but you are proactive to take action when things happen. One of the greatest things that every entrepreneur should be afraid of is you're building a business and it becomes obsolete. Imagine what happened to Nokia, the telephone company. Imagine what happened to Motorola. Imagine what happened to Yahoo, the email provider. It's because they did not take charge of some of these things. They were too comfortable and they were kicked out. Imagine what happened to MySpace. Facebook kicked it out. Imagine what happened to Yahoo Messenger. WhatsApp kicked it out. Imagine what happened to Express Union and all of that. Mobile phone kicked it out. Mobile money transfers kicked it out. So we need to be conscious. It is happening around us. It is happening around us. And as professionals and as entrepreneurs, we need to be updated and be ready to take actions at the right time so that we can avoid becoming obsolete in our careers and in our industry. All right, everybody, that is what today's session. And we can talk, comments, and questions, and we'll run up. Cheers.